Southeast Asian nations are pledging to strengthen trade relations. Leaders met near Bangkok over the weekend to discuss how to boost economic growth in the region. Their main tool will be a new free trade agreement.
We need to protect the free trade order from external influences and bring the economy back on track. The conclusion of the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership will contribute to free trade and expand investment in the region, as well as peace and prosperity in East Asia.
After 7 years in the pipeline, stakeholders have agreed on the terms of the deal that's set to create one of the world's biggest trade blocs. The Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, known as RCEP, would account for 1/3 of global GDP and span nearly half the world's population. It includes the 10 ASEAN members and 6 of their biggest trade partners: China, South Korea, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, and possibly India. But Prime Minister Narendra Modi says he can't sign the agreement in its current form, as it would see India cut tariffs on up to 90% of imports from its partners. And Modi is worried local businesses would be hit by an influx of cheaper Chinese goods, as well as agricultural products from Australia and New Zealand. However, the remaining partners are under pressure to go ahead, with or without India.
Today, ASEAN and the world face ever-increasing challenges and uncertainties. There's the global economic slowdown, which according to the International Monetary Fund's forecast, will see the global economy expand at its slowest pace in 10 years. There's geostrategic competition globally and regionally, showing itself in the form of trade frictions and other conflicts between some countries,
namely the United States and China. Smarting from the tariff dispute with Washington, Beijing sees the regional economic agreement as a way to boost trade dominance in its own backyard, a position strengthened since President Donald Trump pulled the US out of the Trans-Pacific Partnership nearly 3 years ago. RCEP countries are expected to sign the deal next year and say they'll keep the door open for India to join at a later stage, if they can resolve their differences. Sibel Karkus, TRT World.
Well, for more on this, Phar Kim Beng joins us now from London. He's a political economist and the founder of Strategic. Welcome back to Money Talks. What do you think about India's decision to pull out of this agreement, to pull out of RCEP? Is it a right move on their part? They're worried that their market will be flooded with cheaper Chinese goods. Is that a valid concern?
I think it's a valid concern across the board because Indian economy hasn't been doing well over the last few years. In fact, over the last 6 years, India has lost about up to 9 million jobs. As with any free trade agreement, which can be very lopsided, when you sign on to a free trade agreement such as RCEP or the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, certain goods that are being made cheaper, such as those in China, will come flooding in. So when India refuses to sign the agreement, the RCEP agreement, the reason is perfectly justifiable.
Okay, now let's look at the agreement in a little more detail. It's been touted as creating the world's largest free trade deal, and that's presumably because the nations of China and India, with their billion-plus populations, would have been involved. Do you think it's a good thing for that Southeast Asian region as a whole?
Well, for the lack of a better word, this is basically what ASEAN or the 10 member states of Southeast Asia dream for, to have India and China as their trading partners. But when India cannot receive the full benefits of the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, it's very, very difficult for India to concede naturally. So in more ways than one, the reason why everyone wants India to come on board is because this is one gesture to show to the rest of the world, if not to the United States in particular, that the region of East Asia, or Indo-Pacific, if you might, can actually grow without the presence of the United States.
Yeah.
And for what it's worth, the U.S. economy has been doing extremely well over the last 121 months.
Yes, can I ask you more about that US angle? As we know, it is a notable absentee from this agreement, and China, I guess, is under more pressure to get more access to markets with this ongoing trade war with Washington. Do you think this agreement then, which is being led by Beijing essentially, is mainly serving China's interests rather than the other nations involved?
I don't think it's serving China's interest primarily, because you also have Japan that wants the agreement to go ahead. It's also serving Japan's interest, if not South Korea as well. And those three countries occasionally have simmering commercial rivalry, if not downright political rivalry between the three. So all the countries in the northeastern part of East Asia do want RCEP to go ahead. But these economies are so advanced compared to the one in India that even when they sign on to any comprehensive regional economic partnership agreement, the first to benefit from that breakthrough would be the likes of China, Japan, and South Korea, not necessarily the member states of ASEAN.
Okay, Phar Kim Beng, we'll have to leave it there, but it's good to get your analysis as always. Thank you.